Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here, Robin Faraj, cracked coder on Twitter, building Postal with Joshua. He's working 14-hour days until he can retire his parents, getting his SaaS app to 100K MRR. Guys, this
Yeah.
guy is crazy. Love his content on Twitter. I've been following for some time now. Him and Josh building up Postal. Like these guys are amazing. They're fighters, it would seem as well. Can you believe that? Yes. So, welcome, Robin. By the end of this podcast, what can persons expect to learn from you?
Um, Depends on what you will ask me, but basically, um, how we leverage AI to build Postel, and also maybe we can talk about a couple of some big mistakes we are like big lessons that we learned during our journey so far.
Okay. No, that sounds great. I want to start off with a tweet that you had actually posted since we're on that topic right there. It says 12 months can change your life from 0 to 7,400 followers and 25K in sales on a single platform. Don't waste your time doom scrolling on X. It's a growth machine if you know what you're doing. How do people grow on X, Robin?
It's a good question. We actually have a full-on course. Like Joshua took his time, build out everything into a video course, which is for free at Postel. Um, but for me, when I started because my startup back then failed. My team stood up. We never like the only way we did back then was like building something. We have an idea, we build it, and then we go on and ask family and friends like, "Hey, can you try this?" And that's that's really biased because your friends and family they might download it, but they won't use it. They download it because of you, not because of the app or the idea or anything. So after my startup failed and I was close to losing my job, I was like, okay, I need to change something. I know how to build, but I need people to try out the stuff that I actually built. So I saw Mark Lu. I think many of us started that way. Like they saw Mark Lu and realized, damn, I didn't know Twitter can do that. So at the same day, I split up with my co-founders. I downloaded X, deleted. Like I had already an account from when I was 14 with all the Minecraft content and stuff. So I deleted all of that and then changed my profile picture and just put out some tweet. And that tweet went to the void. um, but I didn't know much about writing. I didn't know much. Okay, how do I package everything to nice tweets that tells a story? I didn't know much about building a brand. I didn't know anything. I just started tweeting. Um, and then I found communities, the build in public community. And then I started posting into there, meeting other people, connecting with them. That's how it started. And if you ask me now how you should grow your account from zero, it's actually pretty simple because it's not that difficult to stand out. You just need to do something very, very interesting and package it in a very nice way. Um, we did that with Basim. I don't know if you know him, but basically, Bas in public, he grew to like 2K followers in his first month from zero. And I remember he came back from a vacation and he was like, I need to change something. I want to make what you guys do. We're like, okay, start an X account. Step one, you go and you get the blue check mark right away. Because if you don't have the blue check mark, you're not really, you're not committed. You really need that. So that's the first step. And second thing is, think about some cool project, maybe something with a community effect, something, you don't necessarily need to do money with that, but something that's interesting to talk about or to share. So we were like, okay, build a 3D forest where people can go on, get a backlink, plant a tree, and add links to their profile or website. So he vibe coded that in a day, put
Of
like
course.
a paywall and database behind it in 7 days, and he posted about that. And not only that, he also shared his face. So putting up selfies, like you can't imagine how many people are afraid of just taking a good photo of themselves and posting it online. Like even if you do that, you are 10%.
Is that
You
some
know?
kind of sauce there? Like, is the selfie meta that's what's going on now?
Yeah, I mean, it always was. It always was. If you go back, like, just compare how many people just post about text, and then if you scroll, it's all wall of text, right? The only thing that stands out is if you see a real face. You know it's a real human being. That's what Mark Lu did, or like still does, you know, sharing something about his personal life. And once you realize you don't only need to post walls of text, but you can leverage, your face or maybe different visuals, but something that's, stands out, then that will be a big game changer. And a lot of people talk also about reply guy, and I kind of see that. Like I also did that a while. It can be a great help to start off if you really start from zero, but you don't really need that. Like most people that I see that swear on reply guy and say, "Oh, that's the only thing that works," they have no good content. You know, you really can grow if you really have good content. Like only
Yeah.
that.
The issue that I have with reply guy, it's so dependent on others. Like you're kind of having to go underneath. You kind of have to watch somebody's content, which is, there's nothing wrong with it. But at the same time, how are you gonna let yourself shine and come through, and so persons can come to your brand? I'm not saying that you shouldn't reply or anything like that. I think it's good just to interact. I kind of treat Twitter like a really large forum page. So like when I see certain people pop up, I'm like, oh, Robin posted today. Oh, Josh
Yeah,
posted today, and I just interact, right? Because
yeah,
I want to talk to you guys.
yeah,
Yeah, rather than it being like, oh, I need to hit my daily quota of 15 replies today. No, it's. I feel like the once it becomes, there's a bit of organic or like authentic kind of like conversation that could be had if you just simply just ask a question, or if you really want to talk to that person instead of trying to hit a quota. But that's my thoughts on the reply guy, and especially as it comes to just building something as well, like I never had like a reply guy phase. I reply to people, but I'm trying to build. I'm trying to build and talk about what I build. And then you find that once you have something going on, people naturally come and gravitate towards you, man.
yeah. Maybe we should actually talk about like people should do reply guys because it's helpful to me. But you really see that people when people comment, if they comment because they find what you do interesting or want to interact with you, or if they just comment to comment, Same thing with AI replies. And then I go to the pro, like I see same guy doesn't have a blue check mark, comments under every post, but something that doesn't sound like I really comment, don't know what to reply. And I check out the profile and there's no content that I find interesting. So why would I follow? It's
Exactly.
not personality wise, it doesn't stick, and also content wise, your profile is not appealing at all. How do you expect to grow like that?
You have to ask them. I have no idea, man. In terms of your last startup that you mentioned before, what was, because I was actually, because you had mentioned it actually a couple of times on Twitter. I remember because you had a tweet that said last year you had failed your startup, your co-founders broke up. How did you like manage? First of all, what was even the startup, and then how did you manage that failure within yourself?
Uh, there was it was an idea that we had. Doesn't didn't even necessarily come from a problem. So it was typical solution in search of a problem. We wanted to do AI generated podcasts, but we didn't want to do them. We didn't want to do them like you generate and then you wait 30 seconds until it's generated, but it was seamless. So you would search for like it was like Spotify or Blinkist, and you would search for something, and you would get on every search you would get results. So there would not be a single topic that doesn't exist. And you click on it and it starts generating, and while it generates it streams, so you just wait 1 second and it starts playing right away. And it worked pretty well. At that time though, the AI voices, they were good, but we couldn't afford them, so we had shitty AI voices. And we were actually talking to investors, but they weren't really ready to like there was interest, but they weren't ready to invest because we didn't have traction. So
Mm,
that leads to the same problem as I don't know how to get customers. So maybe that would have been different today because actually that was a cool idea and
not
it worked pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, if you're creating like the AI part, like the Spotify, like just AI content is coming out, that's relevant. That's sick, especially now with how good the AI voices are, man, and AI
Yeah.
music overall. No, that would do. That would rip right now. I would use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the AIs itself got way better, so the content isn't like back then hallucinations were a big problem. Nowadays, like AI doesn't hallucinate so much on historical topics, for example.
Yeah, especially with like the new models that are dropping out. Like we had that open source one, like Kimi K2 and
Yeah,
Minimax. That was better than ChatGPT. I was like, oh, we're here now. I love
yeah.
I'm loving the competition that I'm seeing.
Just got also way cheaper. It's way
And
cheaper.
that as well. Yeah, like it's like which is so surprising from like Anthropic and ChatGPT, because if you look at the ones that dropped the other day, like Minimax, it's like
Yeah,
it's like what, 4 cents per million, and Claude is still $3 per million,
yeah,
which makes you kind of wonder like what's going on there.
yeah.
Oh, it's kind of crazy.
But
In terms of like you and Josh, like what is the story there? How did you guys like meet up?
yes. So yeah, the startup failed. I started posting on X. I turned the the failed startup was a mobile app, and before that, I had to work with mobile apps on at work and stuff. I always hated it, and also transitioning
Mm.
from web to mobile was kind of annoying because of all the little quirks, and it's just annoying developer experience and
I
things you
know how
have
you
to
mean.
know.
Like,
So I saw ship how was it, ship fast, and I realized, hey, I didn't know people buy this shit. But it made sense. I myself bought ship fast. I then returned it, but I decided, okay, I rip everything out of the app that I built, the startup that failed, and sell it as a boilerplate. I just cleaned it up and put video tutorials, documentation, really good documentation around that. Package as a product and sell that via X. Surprisingly, that went really well. I don't know. It's the easiest money I've ever made in my life, and it was surprising. Like it is really. I didn't even have 500 followers. I made pre-launch. I didn't have the product ready. I just had a website, free website with a Stripe link. I made pre-sales in the first 2 weeks, 1K. I,
insane,
I literally don't know how that happened. And then
insane.
I realized, okay, I need to do more content about that to make more sales, and it worked, but it was pretty time consuming to balance creating content that's on topic and relevant for that, and at the same time building, and then managing also 9 to 5 and private life and shit. And then I had the idea of Postal. Because content is basically always the same. I already had enough content, so I had the documentations, I had blog articles, but packaging them into tweets or LinkedIn or YouTube videos it was always time consuming and annoying, because the content stays the same, but the packaging is different, right?
Hmm.
And then I saw Joshua. People started talking about Joshua like the next big star on X. I was like, who the
Yeah,
fuck is this guy? So I checked him out. I messaged him a DM and realized he's German. So we hopped on a call, and it literally was love on the first sight. Like
yeah.
we started talking about our girlfriends and private life and family stuff and our goals in life and why we build stuff and also martial arts. And I was just like, damn, this guy is literally
Yeah.
me,
Mm,
me
yeah.
in in like a different theme. And he did at that time not ghostwriting, but he had like a little agency where he did writing for other people, basically ghostwriting, right? Um, and he was really successful, and also he did know how to write content on X because he was successful there as well. And he also wanted to simplify the process of what he did. So we were like, okay, we have the same idea and same problem. Let's build it together. And that's how it happened. And then we were building for 6 months. After 6 months, we first met in real life.
So yeah. That's all. Like you guys are. I love you guys like journey. And it's so cool how you can just meet persons just like that on X, man,
It's
and
crazy.
just connect and just launch and go nuclear. I saw like you had like this picture of like four of you guys, like four guys in one bed. Are all of you guys a part of the same team, or is it like what's going on there?
You mean that one that did viral? We were in the bed
Yeah,
looking like.
yeah. That one, yeah, the YC one. I was like, what is going on here?
um, no, those two guys were just friends. One of them actually a YC founder that quitted YC to, like, one of them is just a friend of mine. He wants to start a food truck. The other one is a ex YC founder. He built Stack Off and then was kind of tired of the whole startup game because Like, he was pretty successful and the startup is pretty successful, but he was tired of just startups at that phase where you have to manage people. And he decided to sell everything and go to China and buy a van and live in a van.
Okay, wow,
Yeah.
that I have to get him on next. That's a crazy story, man. That's a
Yeah.
crazy story. You've mentioned it twice now, where you talk about like how there's a little inconvenience with the 9 to 5 with you, and I've noticed like a similar theme on your page where you're just like, yeah, you know, rat race. I want to escape. What's the driving force for you behind of that?
To escape or to keep my 9 to 5?
To escape.
To escape.
Hmm.
Actually, I'm pretty blessed with my 9 to 5 because I'm pretty free to do whatever I want. And I can manage my time as I want. That's a big plus for building my startups. And that's the reason why I didn't quit yet. Also because I need the money.
Yeah.
But why I want to escape is basically I realized that during my studies, where people that study computer science mostly don't really like to build things. They're just there because they didn't know what else to study and they want the money. And then after my studies, I realized, okay, pay in Germany is really not that good, and it doesn't really matter how good you are because I've been coding for since I'm 13. Then I quit, like I already had experience, but pay was shit because they only look at how many years full time experience you have. And I came fresh out of uni, how many can I have? And at that time, I already managed like a team and stuff, but it didn't count. It wasn't important to anyone. And at my 9 to 5, it's it doesn't matter how much. Like if you really put in effort, you get like 2K raise a year. And at the same time you are for like there's always someone above you that you have to report to or ask for allowance for any shit. Like if I want to work remotely, I have to see if that works. I have to go to dailies, all that stuff, and I don't really get to build what I want. So I like what I love the most about just startups is I solve a problem. I solve the problem how I want. I get to do more than just programming, and I get paid for like if am successful, I get paid for that, right? If I'm not successful, okay,
Hmm.
that's a risk I have. But if I get successful, I get what I earn. Otherwise, like
Yeah.
at my 9 to 5, it would be I would build something. If it's successful, they are lucky. I'm just the guy that built it. Um, and I like the freedom, of course.
Yeah,
So
no, I think it's funny because you had mentioned like the Mark Lou before. It's like that kind of idea where you're able to do what you want on your own terms, right? It's crazy. And in terms of just yeah, yeah, for sure. And I love how much I relate to that in that sense where man, I've always wanted to just build something huge and just have it just fund the kind of lifestyle that I would want to live in that sense, instead of having to rely on like some kind of like, job or 9 to 5. And you also mentioned it a while ago where it's like, yo, the 9 to 5 doesn't scale, does not scale at all because there's gonna be a hard cap eventually, because the person above you obviously doesn't want you making more than them. So it's eventually there's going to be a sharp cut where it's like your pay just cannot pass a certain threshold. But if we're as we are as founders, sky's the limit really. And with this age and how AI has kind of shifted the way we code, my guy, the way
yeah,
I'm looking at it now, it's like if AI can do most of the coding, a lot of it's coming down to how we package our messages and get it out there in front of as many human beings as
and
possible.
it's scary as an employee. Like most of the employee, like think about what I can build right now, how fast I can build it, and back then I would have needed a team to build that fast, right? But now I can just use agents for like quick tasks, so we will need less developers, as a company.
Yeah, yeah, way less, way less. It's like even now, man. I work with my local university, and I'm shipping like crazy. I've shipped like 5 products for them by myself.
Yeah,
And it's crazy because I'm only a back end guy. Like it wasn't until like I started working with them that I had to be front end.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. It's great. Also, another big reason is I get to work with my friends. Like it doesn't like I get to choose the people that I work with. like I'm lucky at my 9 to 5. Everybody is cool, but at the same time, there's like some sort of barrier or authority, you know. When I work with Joshua or like work with Bruno, it's they're my friends, you know. I don't mind going with them to Thailand, live in a villa for 1 month because we are best friends. And I want to have that in the future as well when I work with people. Like just we can go and it doesn't feel like work because it's with friends and you do what's fun, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Man, it's a beautiful thing that when you have people, especially when you guys are like of the same mind, it's so easy for new ideas to come up. And if you're all on the same page, wow, sky's the
It
limit.
was
Sky's
the month
really
the month in
sky.
Thailand was a dream, man. Like we would wake up, go go on a motorbikes, hope Joshua doesn't crash, go to 7-Eleven, grab some breakfast, go to training, go swimming, come back home, take a nap, take a shower, go to the pool, go eat something, then work. And during work breaks, we would just drill the techniques that we learned. Like just perfect, man. It
Yeah,
was
no,
so
that
fun.
never. That sounds like a dream come true. I would love. Imagine, just waking up, jiu-jitsu or MMA, right? And then you're just shipping like crazy. What would you say was the most impactful thing from that trip for you? Like, what did you like get from that? You know?
Honestly, business wise, it
Mm-hmm.
was not good at all. We were like we. It's just hard to be productive in a new environment. Um, I could see myself where I'm staying like longer than 1 month, that you become productive because you like get into routine. But for like only like 3 or 4 weeks, it's difficult. But it was just so impactful to see what's possible. Like in terms of, I have now lived 1 month and worked 1 month with Joshua in a villa and lived like the dream life. Um, and I have realized that this is definitely something I want to do again. And I want to, if I want to do it again, I want to do it properly. You know, it's not like remote work with 9 to 5 combined, and I just want a life where I can say, hey, now I want to go to Thailand for 2 months, and I just go, you know, and I can work from
Yes.
there, meet Joshua over there, take my girlfriend with me and pay for her, you know. Um, I would say that was the most impactful thing, and also just like that was the first time in this year where I got to really relax, or like not relax, but
Mm.
kind of have holiday.
Yeah, because I mean, shipping 14 hours a day is kind of crazy. Yeah, so definitely. How were the? I know you kept posting like different like pictures of food. How was the food up there? I saw you posted some insects. Did you actually try the insects up
I
there
did
as
not.
well?
I did not. I was the only one that didn't
No.
try. Joshua tried. The other ones tried. I don't understand the need to try that. I don't have that. I just look at it. I'm like, why would I even try this? I don't plan to eat that.
Fair enough.
The food though, man, I
Hmm.
remember like it was the second day or something. We went to some local place. We got like just plain duck and rice, just plain, no sauce, no nothing. And then you had some chili sauce that you could put over there. Man, it was so delicious. And then we got the bill for all
Mm.
of us, including drinks. It was like 5 euros. 5 euros. It's a parking ticket in Germany.
Yeah, that's
And
crazy. That's
that
like
was like
wow.
so delicious, so healthy. And the time during Thailand was the time, I think, not the fittest, but like it was definitely a healthy lifestyle because the food is so cheap. You just go out, and every food that you eat is just so healthy. And you always
Mm.
train, and it's always sunny. You know, you go swimming. I was just fit. I was just in shape.
You're living your best life. That's what you're doing,
And it
man.
was easy.
That's
It
not.
was easy to stay fit. In Germany,
Hmm.
I realize that right now. I'm like, I don't really want to go out because it's raining, it's traffic everywhere.
Hmm.
And there was just easy to stay fit because, you know, wake up, it's already sunny. And
Yeah.
you just wait, you are getting sleepy when it's time to sleep, and you are awake when it's time to be awake. In Germany, I don't really have that at least.
Really, in what way? Is it because of like how long it takes the sun to go down?
No, it's dark all the time. So in the
Oh.
morning you're tired, and at night you're tired, but you don't really want to go to sleep because you're still working. Also, I have this kind of thing where if I go to sleep, I have to wake up and work my 9 to 5. so I kind of delay going to sleep. I don't know. It's just there was just like 10 p.m. You're already tired, so you just say, okay, I work 1 more hour, go to sleep. You just wake up at like 7 a.m. in the morning, and you're just awake and ready to go to training.
That sounds sick. That sounds sick. In terms of, because we had mentioned it before, in terms of how much you're able to ship, I would love to see how you guys are shipping over at Postal. Like, what's going on there? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you, because I recently saw you had launched a new calendar feature on Postal. You're shipping that out. What went into getting that like going? Like, how do you leverage AI to put that together, package it up, and get it in front of the people? Would love to see.
Let me actually see. I have had a Miro board where I had all the flows that I use mapped out. But it's basically I have different flows for different tasks involving different tools. Boom. Let me check if there's anything that I shouldn't share, but I think that should be fine. All right. Can I share my screen somehow? Yeah.
Yes, you. There's a button beside the end call button that says share.
All right. Let me know if you can see that.
Yep, we're live, man.
All right. So there's like AI tools are everywhere right now. You have them for
Mm-hmm.
design, architecture, coding, productivity, marketing, project management, everything. Um, what I use is a different variety across everything. Um, we have on the left, it mostly starts with like a bug report, feature request, or an idea or problem that we have right now. And there are different things that we use. There's Discord mainly because we have you can see that. Well, we have a Discord server with all the customers, and everybody is feel free to join. And people often give us feedback there, so we just get feedback on Discord or on X or something, and we share that on Discord. And then we have an NNN automation, which is new, that just listens to that and goes on and creates a linear ask. So if there comes a feedback or some bug report, an automation starts and goes and creates a ticket in linear. Not a ticket, but a linear ask. So it's a triage. Then we can go through that ourselves and see what what we want to solve or what we actually want to implement or fix, and prioritize that. And also, there's a cool thing in Linear where they have now an AI that can check, like it can group certain triage issues, and it can also check if we already have an issue or working on that, so we don't have duplicates and it's nicely structured. So
Oh, that's sick.
that's on the left side, and then we go into here where we have like research planning prioritization, where, for example, let's say I have a bigger feature in mind that I'm not really sure how good it will, like how helpful it would be if the customer will like it or not. So what we try to do there is like use one of those typical tools, Lovable, Bold, Replit, Magic Patterns, some AI vibe coding tool to create a POC that we then can hand out to customers or like screen share and talk with them about it. So we just give it them in their hands and see what they say about a new flow. And that's like a first measure to see if it's worth it pursuing. And if it is, we just go on and create a PRD or a product requirements document where we just map out, what features are included, what are we trying to achieve with that. So it's a lot of planning right here. And this is, I would say, the most important part when it comes to programming with AI. Because the better you define what you want to have, the easier it is for AI to actually implement it. And for that, we use based on how big the issue is. Like if it's just a bug, I just can either write it myself. I have templates for that, or I can use ChatGPT Gemini to define the bug, like to further specify the bug ticket or the feature ticket, improvement ticket. If it's some bigger thing, I go to ChatPRD. That's a tool by Claire Vaux, which is set out to create good requirement documents. But yeah, in the end of day, we create a document ticket, PRD, and go to Linear and create a ticket. Also, a nice thing that I really can recommend is the LennyBot. This is something we use for business business tasks. Like if we're not sure, for example, how we should adjust the pricing, how we should solve a problem, what should be a next good step, how we can adjust the copy, you know. Then we go to LennyBot. That's basically just a Delphi bot based on Lenny's podcast. So it's huge. Like it's really, really helpful and really, really smart in terms of business stuff and product stuff. So that's been a game changer actually. But yeah, then we go on, and then I have for implementation I use Cursor, Claude Code, and Cyrus. Cyrus is basically a wrapper around Claude Code, which allows us to just it's like a
Interact with
coworker.
Linear, right?
Exactly. So I can just have if I have like smaller bug tickets in Linear that I want to not solve myself, but like have like I can just assign Cyrus. It starts up a Claude Code instance and comes back with a PR. That's simple.
That's sick.
For bigger tasks, you could like I talked to the founder. I'm sure you can use it too for bigger tasks, but that requires you to have really well set up Claude Code and your guidance and stuff. We don't really have that yet. That's why I mainly do those more manually. So I use Cursor and Claude Code. Cursor is just the the code editor that I use. And Claude Code is really the thing that's also been a game changer. And
Game changer
yeah,
in
I
what
just
way?
a game changer in terms of productivity. I think it's like at least when I started using Claude Code or I switched, Cursor wasn't that great in like agentic flows. So Cursor was really back then feeling like, okay, do this. Okay, now do this. And then do this, right? And Claude Code is more like, hey, get the ticket, solve it, so on. And I think Cursor can do this now too, but I'm I don't really want to switch back. So we're using Claude Code, and I kind of for big tasks I kind of try to break them down on my own and give them more context, even like create a technical plan, revise the technical plan based on a linear ticket. And for that I just say like use the linear MCP, get the ticket, do some deep research, check if it's what parts files are involved, what components do we already have, what services do we already have that we can reuse, follow this and that clean code pattern. I have rules for that too. I just like to have it more, give it more guidance and be more like micromanage it more for big tasks. Because I feel like for big tasks, it's easier that it goes wrong and just does more work. At least for our stage, because we don't have so much guidance right now in terms of rules and stuff.
Yeah, you guys are shipping extraordinarily fast. Not surprised to hear. I mean, yeah, I find out like when as the scope gets larger, Claude needs as much guardrailing as possible because it will just go off the rails. It'll just
yeah,
start for some reason after a while, like especially once it hits that 50% context. Nah, man, I have to reset it because it'll start troubling things that I didn't even tell it to go to. So
yeah,
it's like
exactly. It over
it hit me with
engineers.
the wow,
It can be crazy, and that's why like I just do it more manually. Like try to keep the context small, try to understand. Okay, because if you just let it go and then at the end it went wrong some path, then you just can't start again, and then you wasted context. Yeah, but yeah, then you create a PR. Like Cloud Code creates a PR, and then I have Cloud Code set up for the CI/CD, where it just goes on every PR. It goes on and makes a review. And yeah, that's basically it. Then
that's
Joshua
crazy.
tests it, and then it goes to deployment.
Mm-hmm. That
That's
is
basically the whole flow in overview and the whole tooling. I know it's a lot of tools. Um, I was lucky to get them for really cheap, at least for 1 year, and then from next year on, we have to see if we what we keep and what not. But yeah,
this is sick. I love how even though it's a lot, it's very linear and it works. Is obvious. You guys are doing great. Great.
yeah,
Before you had mentioned you're using the linear MCP. Is there anything else you guys are leveraging as well in the stack?
yeah. I can show you a couple MCPs. I use the linear MCP a lot. The context 7. Something that I played around with was like some of these things to give them access to your browser.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't followed through with that, but that's something that I want to set up for the future. So give it just playwright MCP, it can go on, start a browser and click around and see actually. You give the AI more stuff to see and debug. So that's
Yeah.
something that I think can be a game changer. And then there's, of course, a couple more things that I wanted to try. I heard a lot of great things about the Figma MCP, but we don't really work with designs yet. The Superbase MCP is really great, but I'm kind of afraid of that. So I don't really trust it to go to the production database to do that myself.
Yes.
Like, it would be great if it could go on and just check the database to debug stuff. Yeah, but that's Firecrawl MCP can be great to if you have documentations or websites that you can just use the Firecrawl MCP, it goes on, crawls the website, comes back with the knowledge of it. So that can be great. But something that I found really well, like I started using Context 7 less and less because I felt it's easier to just copy the documentation page as Markdown and put it into the project itself as a documentation under the documentation folder and reference that, because I feel like it works better for Claude Code, so it can go on and pick the parts of the file that it really needs. Works better.
Yeah, I've actually, yeah, it's funny you say that. Like, there's this new GitHub repo that dropped the other day called Skill Seekers that allows you to like rip an entire document page off. So what I've done now is that I started ripping like
Yeah,
entire docs, getting all their APIs, obviously taking on like the get it started page, the extra nonsense, and then I just put it in Markdown on my folder, and I find that the retrieval from Claude is much better than a lot of the times because I use Context 7 as well.
yeah,
Because what I find with Context 7, it kind of just pulls what it thinks you need, kind of like a RAG. Like, you know how RAG is? Like, it just kind of like a
yeah,
chatbot with RAG, like a
yeah.
document. And it just kind of pulls like a little subsection rather than get the
Exactly,
full picture of the context. Yeah. There's
exactly.
this other one that I use that in like as a first, like, if I need to just get like updated docs. I use ref.tools. Like, that guy who built that is crazy. It's very good. The retrieval is on par, almost as if you have the docs in there. But if
Yeah,
I'm doing like bigger features, I get the whole documentation for sure.
yeah. There's also funny to see how a lot of documentation started introducing a copy as Markdown button. And
Because they know.
another thing that I use if they don't have the Markdown copy as Markdown, I use a what is it called? For Raycast, there's a plugin called Web Page to Markdown. That's what I use a lot. Yeah,
Sick. Huh. Nah, I need to check out Raycast then, because it's actually funny you say that. They actually launched on Windows recently. So I'm gonna have
yeah,
to check that out.
crazy. But yeah, Raycast is been great, especially like snippets in Raycast. So you can just if you find yourself typing a lot of prompts again and again or other text snippets, you just create a Raycast snippet, and you can always just reference that. Or like the plugin web page to Markdown is great. Another thing that I missed in this graphic here is Whisper Flow. Do you know Whisper Flow?
Oh, I'm a proud user of Whisperflow, man. Love it. But for
There are
those
many
of you
tools
who are
like that.
listening, could you explain what Whisperflow is for the persons who are listening in?
And basically, Whisper Flow allows you to input speech to text in every text field in every program just by pressing some key on your keyboard. Like I don't need to need to type anything ever again in any application. It's a game
It's
changer.
it's huge, like for development, especially because I have like a thing. Sometimes my wrist will start flaring. I'll just open up my Whisperflow and just start going crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, these
Another
are like the
AI
other
tool.
tools.
Another AI tool is Granola for meetings. So if you have a customer talk, if we have a meeting with anybody, we just have Granola running. So we get transcripts and notes on everything we say. We also use that for internal meetings or brainstorm sessions, so nothing gets lost. Then you can just use Claude Code to summarize them, or we have all our transcripts in some GitHub repository, and then use Claude Code to get customer quotes or ask questions about, if we want to implement something or adjust a copy. Hey, yo, Claude Code, what would be great copy based on what the customer said, told us in the customer interview. So that's also really great.
Sick. That is
But yeah,
so sick. In terms of the roadmap going forward for Postal, you know, what do you like? How do you plan on like going forward with the development of that, and what's that going to look like for the future right now?
In terms of development or in terms of product or business?
No, in terms of well, we can do both. I would want to talk more on the product itself. Like, what features you guys plan on adding on the roadmap, man?
Um, it's people have been asking a lot. Also, there's a lot on our mind. Something that we want to try out or that we are testing right now is as how it works right now is you have a knowledge base, so some blog articles, some videos, anything, and then you go on and can reference them and prompt Postal to get tweets, right? And that's a really you need to take action to get tweets. But most of people just, or the ICP that we want to target, they don't want to really spend much time. They just want results, right? So what we plan on doing right now is use the knowledge base and the writing side and everything that we have about them to just ping them every day, like, hey, here are 5 tweets that you could post today. And what the guy does, like what the user does, is just review them, maybe do a couple adjustments, and then can schedule them out. So we minimize how much effort you need to put in. Of course, you can still use it to, for personal posts and stuff. But for like marketing stuff, especially, that can be pretty helpful. So that's one thing. And then we want to, like, of course, in the future, there's stuff like introducing more platforms like LinkedIn, Sky, all these things, threads. But that's something that's a bit more in the future. Then also, of course, the new calendar view. We want to improve that with drag and drop functionality. Also improve the UI UX across the whole thing.
Can't imagine. Can only imagine when that's. I am looking forward to when you guys add that more like agentic feature. That is sick. That sounds sick
One
because
big thing
it's.
is
Oh, what's that?
one big thing is like the knowledge base is really something that separates us, and I think that's something like people love that knowledge base and are using Post because of the knowledge base. We want to offer more integrations. Like imagine you can just connect your Drive, you can connect your Notion, or maybe your YouTube channel. Like you upload a YouTube video, and then you just get, hey, that YouTube video can be used for the streets.
That's
Um,
sick. You guys would kind of be like, it's kind of that reminds me of Opus clips, or even kind of like
exactly,
Riverside that we're on right now. You
exactly,
guys would be like the Opus clips for Twitter, like, oh, dropped a new YouTube video. Here are like the 5 tweets that are bound to go viral based on this video.
exactly,
That
exactly.
would be a huge game changer, man. That would be sick. Trust.
Yeah.
And going back on that knowledge base feature, could you tell persons more about that? Because let me tell you, that's actually before like some because some work stuff and some live stuff came up. So unfortunately, I'm not a user of Postal at the moment. But once I've sorted my things out, I cannot wait to jump back on and use that knowledge base feature. I have so much content from this pod that is just there sitting, and I know it's a gold mine. But regardless, tell more persons about that knowledge base feature, man.
Yeah, so as I said, we had the problem that I have already a lot of content. Like every person that's somehow doing something on the internet has already a lot of content they may or may not know about. That can be documentations, blog articles that I've already wrote, videos they have already made, podcasts like these. And all of that can be content. You can just package it differently, phrase it differently, tell the story differently. And that's where the knowledge base comes into play. Like we realize, okay, what if I can just throw in my blog article, my TikToks, my X posts that I already made, everything knowledge into a knowledge base and reference that to create new content out of that. So you're building basically an AI based on whatever you feed it to. And it learns the stuff with you and it remembers everything and you can reference everything. And that way you will basically never run out of content again.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I love it so much because, especially the whole notion of being able to get it from different angles. I think that one is huge. So sick, so sick, man. Is there anything else you'd want to leave the listeners or the watchers with today?
I would say never stop if you're failing because failing turned me into where I am today. And I'm still far from success. Like I've succeeded in many ways, but far from what I've imagined my life to look like. But what I've learned across the way, like along the way, and the friends that I've made is incredible. I would have never imagined that one year could change my life so much. And if you're at the wall, just think about different way, like what can you learn from that and how you can do things differently. Because I see a lot of people they tell me like, I've been posting straight 5 times every day for 3 months, but I don't perform. Okay, what did you change? Like, what have you tried changing? What have you experimented with? You know, um, that's definitely something, and that applies across every layers of life, I would say.
100%, man. Before we close off, you had mentioned something there about what the vision you have for your life. All right, let's take a step back. Right, you're 80. Robin's in Thailand right now with Josh on the beach. What do you want to see at the end of that? Like what's going on for you there?
Um, like we've talked about Mark Lu. Mark Lu, when I started off, it was like kind of cool seeing him making a lot of money with like relatively simple products. But that changed a lot ever since. My dream always was doing something as like a real startup. Right now, that's also kind of changed, but I definitely want to build businesses and not only one. Make enough money, but never stop working. I want to help. Like Joshua and I talked about, imagine having we're 60, 70, 60 years old, let's say 50 years old. We already have a couple successful businesses, maybe a couple exits or something. And everything that we learned, we just help people to, not be stuck or get started. So imagine like a Y Combinator, but even at the earlier stage and way cooler, because it's not only like we take everyone for like 6 months to a villa in Thailand, and then help them get their startup off the ground, um, something like that. And then just having multiple businesses that I really enjoy working on, maybe a couple of them that I just am not really actively a part of, but that I built off the ground and now are still running. And then just having time for my family. Like in the end, it's all about family. I just want to
I
have
agree.
enough money and freedom to have a big family, grandchildren, happy wife, and somewhere like not being stressed by money, because that's something that I grew up with, and I don't want that for my family.
I love your talks, like on how you bring forth a lot of that family life. I huge on it, man. Huge on it. Huge. When I was traveling to Barbados recently, I saw like this family. They're supporting their little girl doing jiu-jitsu, and I thought I want that while having a SaaS generating some background money. So I'm
Like
so with you on that one, bro.
having a family is basically like, it makes sense that we like building and having a family, because a family is basically building a family. Like you're building, that's the biggest project in your life, probably. Like imagine like my wife, my girlfriend, she told me that if we will ever get children, I have to be in top shape, because it's proven that will affect like your child when it's being born, like it's getting passed down. So
Oh,
you have to be
good.
in top
You
shape.
have to lock in,
Uh,
man.
yeah, and then like imagine you have a son and you teach him all about from ground up everything you learned, and you build your little human being.
That
That's
is
that's like
sick.
that is sick, man.
That is
That is
sick,
sick.
bro. Like you're shipping your son.
Yeah, shipping your son,
That is sick.
exactly. And that's just, and
Yeah.
then putting that into every layer of life, like building a family, buying a house, building a house, the cars that you decide to get, where you decide to live, what school you decide to put your children in, how you treat your parents, and uh, like all these things are just building stuff.
Yeah, it all boils down to shipping and building, doesn't it? It's
And what we
crazy.
do right now is just enable us to, like, it's unlocking that new level.
Yeah, bro. Robin, my guy, thank you so much for coming down on the pod, talking about how to go viral on X, how to use your app Postal, and how you build with it, man. Yeah, really appreciate you for stopping by.
It
Thank you
was
so much, brother.
great. Thank you for having me. It was really great.
You're a beast, bro. Stop your recording.